I'm Caz Parker for MMH, the home of rock radio, and I'm joined today by vocalist Matt and guitarist Dave from the band Ransom. Welcome.
Welcome. Hello.
Hello. So how are you?
Good. Very good, actually. Thanks for having us on.
No, you're very, very welcome. So obviously, we are here today to talk about something very exciting, the release of your first EP as an original band. And you cleverly released that. Well, the EP is called The EP is called Halfway to Hell, which you cleverly released at 3:33 on the 5th of August, because obviously that's half of the devil's number. Nice touch. I like it. So you've obviously been working very hard on getting this EP together to get it released during the last few months in lockdown. And what was nice was I was reading about how all this came about and how you've been a classic rock covers band for over 5 years. Matt, I know you joined in the last couple of years. But evidently, a hard-working band, gigging a lot, suddenly were faced with the prospect of no shows for the foreseeable, and obviously no money that goes with that, and it kind of inspired you to write the first track, which was Lockdown in London, which actually happens to be my favourite one of the whole lot. And you also pulled together a really successful GoFundMe campaign, which enabled you to do the rest of the recording and produce it yourself. So at the moment, you're feeling pretty proud, pretty excited about what you've achieved, and it's already out there. So that's what we're here to do, really. So how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, feeling really, really good. As I said, as you know, we were, like many other bands out there, trying really hard. We do 90 gigs a year, every weekend, wow. Friday, Saturday nights playing. And it's a hard slog, and some of them, sometimes you're playing to two men and a dog, other times you're playing to 150, 200 people, whatever it is, in pubs, and as I said, it was a case of that was something taken away from us, the money and everything. We were, locked down as everyone else was, and we just felt that as the covers band, what can we do? But, we're all creative people, and we said before that we'd always wanted to do, and I come from original background, Dave does, we've got history behind us. And it just, as an opportunity came, we had nothing to do, we couldn't gig anywhere, we couldn't play anywhere. And so I'm going to hand over to Dave now, because it's Dave that sparked this. So Dave sparked it, and we'll go from there. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, fab.
Yeah, well, it all started about, 7 years ago, I would say. What we did is I got a call from a mate I used to play in a band called the Original Sinners, and he called me up and said, there's this band, they need a guitar player, they're going to do this gig, they're going to do Cambridge Rock Festival or something, and they need a guitar player. So I said, yeah, okay, and for a penny. So I joined up with these guys, and I had 2 rehearsals, and then boom, off we went to Cambridge Rock Festival. It was pretty scary, but anyway, out of that came I teamed up with a singer. And we got a drummer in, and as luck would have it, his mate was a bass player. So we got these 2 guys in, and we started crunching through some songs, just cover songs, just to sort of do a few pubs and small clubs and stuff like that. Yeah. And unfortunately, the drummer died from misadventure.
What?
I don't know what that actually means, but
is that a whole other story for a whole other interview? Because that sounds
it's playing in time. I think that's the problem.
Wow.
You want me to go quicker? but basically, the story is then I got another drummer in. His name's Will. Who's not with us today, and he's
not dead. He's not dead.
I was going to say, I thought the same.
Yeah.
He's not.
Oh damn it! Yeah. He's kind of not in the interview today. Sorry. And I was just about to get a bass player in. My son, at the time, was just gone into college at 16 years old ish, just over 16 years old, and he is an awesome bass player even at 16.
Yeah. And
I was hassling him for a long time. Well, maybe a month or so, to try and play in the band. Then he actually went into college, and after a couple of weeks, I think some of his mates said, "You mad? You're going to get paid for this." So he joined. So he joined the band as soon as he realised he was going to get paid some money, and that's it. That's been the lineup ever since. Yeah. So I would say the last, nearly 7 years. I would say probably 6.5 years. That's been the lineup. We had Bun Davison as vocals at one point. He's now He's now doing the what's it? I always forget.
Chris Slade.
Chris Slade. Yeah, he's doing the Chris Slade timeline. So Chris Slade is like, you know, AC/DC's. I think he's ex-drummer now, but he was the main drummer for a long time. So he's doing the Chris Slade timeline. So he went into, you know, well, I wouldn't say superstardom, but, you know, from our point of view, it was. Yeah. And then we had Alice next. Alice, he's in a band that I think you've promoted on here. I think you've had him on. Maybe you've had him on here. I'm sure I see his video on your website.
Doomsday Outlaw.
Doomsday Outlaw. Yeah. So which is weird because he's the guitarist for. He's one of the guitarists for Doomsday Outlaw, not the singer.
Cool.
But he was our singer. Anyway, he left to go and perhaps join them. I don't know what happened, but and then interestingly enough, I was looking maybe to sort of do something a little bit extracurricular with music, and Matt had a little thing going on, so I went and met up with him. And I know he'll say things about me, but like as soon as I was in that room, as soon as he opened his mouth, and that's before he started singing, by the way, you know, it was kind of like, yeah, this guy needs to be in my band.
Yeah.
So I think Matt can pick up from here.
So basically, you're all happy then. It's a happily worked out.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, I walked into that room and there was just such a tight band, and to basically walk into a rehearsal room and see, you know, three other guys, a backline of bass, drums, guitar, rock and roll, you know, the way it should be, like, you know, in the heroes of Led Zeppelin, The Who. If you go back to, you know, the bands I grew up and really loved, you know, to start with, that kind of rawness, you know, like so many bands are bringing in extra things in now, making it bigger and bigger, but this was the awesome foursome. My sort of like alarm bells just went bang, this is great. Yeah. So to move the story on, I joined them. I had to learn, stretch my vocals and learn all this kind of stuff that they were doing, the wide set that they were doing of classic rock. And they were gigging like every weekend. We do 90 gigs a year. In the last 2 years, I've done nearly 170 odd gigs, whatever it is we've done with these guys.
Holy shit.
And it's, you know, sometimes it's been like, you know, we played the Two Men and a Dog, and other times 150 or 200 or whatever it is. But it's been a really ride. But when lockdown hit us, we couldn't do anything. We had no money, nowhere to play. So Dave and Zach started jamming a riff and a couple other riffs, and they sent it over to me. And they had a piece, because we do a lot of tribute to a lot of bands. Yeah. The initial hook that they sent over was a kind of like Iron Maiden. It was in my head.
So much. Yeah, so much.
Yeah,
I love it.
And because I've got connections with UFO through Lawrence Arch, who played a lot of stuff with me back in the day, and I just had that kind of feel, and it was just about trying to escape from everything, and just the tightness of where we were, no one knowing what the future was about. So we recorded Lockdown in London, and we did it, and we put it out there, and just the response just took us away. We thought, well, let's set up a crowdfunding site and see if we can get some money together to record some more. I mean, recording remotely is tough enough. That whole album, it's testament to 4 songs written from scratch and recorded within about 6 to 8 weeks. You know, with 3 guys who are separate. You know, we couldn't get the drums in, obviously, so we had to use, you know, Zach's technical skills, and he's a little genius. He's Dave's son, and he's just not just a phenomenal bass player, but just an incredibly active mind that he's got from ACM.
Yeah. So Zach obviously is my son. And he's an incredible bass player to start off with, but he went to ACM in Guildford, which is kind of a musical university, I suppose. Yeah. You've heard him like BIMS and stuff like that. There's all that kind of thing. And I think he did 1 year of bass playing and thought, nah, you know, I can already do that. So he did this engineering course, you know, where he's recording people and production. And well, do you know what? I don't understand it. You know, what do you do? And he goes, and I don't understand what you mean. So
you don't have to. You don't have to know everything.
But the thing is, the thing is that, you know, we are testament to the fact that gone are the days of big studios. You can, you know, I reckon our EP, which is Halfway to Hell, is I think it's a pretty damn good recording, even though we did it in lockdown.
You know, when you say people, for sure. You know, I've said the same when I've put my thoughts together. I think the production doesn't sound like we had to just do it all separately and do it ourselves. Not at all. I think it's really well produced. So he's done a great job there.
The other thing I'm gonna shout, because he's not here. The other thing, and he's my son, so I'm going to shout for him a bit. Absolutely. But the other thing is he's got a great a creative mind.
Yeah.
So basically, when we're in the studio, when we're in his little studio, especially me and him, I'm going, okay, let's like up this riff. It goes da 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 da, and he says, oh yes, it's a great riff. And then you'll go away and he'll come back and he'll go, yeah, I've changed your riff a little bit. And he cuts it off, and he did one riff. He cut it in half, and he told me I'll cut it in half. I go, what'd you do that for? He goes, trust me, it's really good. I know what I'm doing. So I went, oh, God, okay. So you're back in the studio and like you listen to it and goes, wow, that's genius.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's the kind of thing he does. And so he'll have a look at a song and he'll go, yeah, we need to put a break in there. We need to like do this and then we need to do something different there. We need to do this. And he's a young mind. Yeah. So we're really lucky. We got this young guy that listens to music that perhaps I wouldn't bother listening to. Yeah. You know, a different rock and stuff. I mean, Zach loves, probably his favourite band is Rolling Stones, but he's listening to new music, new rock kind of style of music all the time, and he's got that coming in, and I think that shows in the way our music is. We produce our music, and so for a four-piece one-guitar band, there is a heck of a lot going on.
Yeah, there is.
It's a very unique way of writing that they have, and I'm going to big Dave up here a little bit because with all four songs, I wouldn't get them till 10 o'clock in an evening on a Sunday night or whatever, and I get the riff right, I get the complete song, and they've got it as it was. And I think, right, I get a bottle of whiskey out, I've got to do some lyrics to this, the old Bon Scott way. And I sit down, I think, right, what's this about? And we tried to make it relevant. And I think Zach inspired that kind of modern feel to where I look. So Colourblind, that was inspired by all that was going on with the race riots and actually inspired by John Barnes, the footballer, coming out about Liam Neeson, which I thought, if you ever Google that, I thought what he said was intelligent. Take away the colour, take away prejudice, just treat things the way they are. And I just thought that was a really poignant thing, and lyrically it was very important to me. So, but I'd only get this from what those two do together. It's incredible, and I don't want to interfere with it. I've had lots of writing processes with bands before, but this way I'm working within a template where I've got to try and think, okay, I want to make this relevant. I want to make this now. I want to make this about this. And I have to really get inside it. And then I'll record something and I'll send it back to them and they'll say, yeah, let's get on with it. When can you come in? And they'll put it down and I'll go back into the studio with them and I'll bang down the lyrics. And the time frame that we do it is incredible,
Yeah, it must be very different. And I'm not a musician myself, but I'm a massive fan, and my other half's a musician as well. So I've seen the way that you've had to just adapt, because this is life right now, and we don't know when it's going to end. Yeah. But it's phenomenal what's being achieved during this time. And I think I'm also seeing quite a lot of influences coming into people's writing about this time. And I think, Tina actually put something really nice in her. Oh man, where did she put it? Because I'm all over the place now. I'm not going in the order I wanted to, but she wrote it really nicely in one of her little bits about that was it. She said, "Loving the Iron Maiden-esque start of lockdown in London, another lockdown baby. It's been an absolutely catastrophic time for the music industry as we continue to struggle and strive and get back to normal life. This will be talked about for generations. Yeah. And the music it inspired will live on forever." And I thought that just sums it up really beautifully. Because a lot of bands are doing it, but I don't think that's a problem. I think it's essential, because there's a lot of fans just waiting to consume more music. We've probably got more time to do that at the moment. And talking about what's going on, there's never been a thing that has affected the entire world at the same time, really, like this has. Everybody has heartbreak sometimes. Some countries have war. Some countries have terror. There are so many different things, but this is affecting everyone at once, pretty much globally. So we can all enjoy hearing how musicians and creative people, what your take is on it, and relate to it in our own way. So I think it's a great idea that you've done. I think it's probably an essential thing. It probably is just happening naturally and evolving, but certainly really well done with it. And do you want to hear a bit of like what we've put about it? About the EP, so you can then pad it out and give us some explanations around it. I mean, sure. For me, I suppose I've got a bit of an overview. So there's 4 tracks, just for anybody who hasn't got it already. There's Vindication, Colourblind, Lockdown in London, and No Gender Offender, as in I ain't no gender offender.
That's important, that. Yeah,
absolutely.
that's very important.
In brackets, but very important. So, I mean, for me, I can totally hear the classic rock influences that you've been playing. So, I mean, the skill that's required to play, I mean, the likes of Zeppelin, Hendrix, Sabbath, The Cult, Guns N' Roses, Pink Floyd, I mean, that's just naming a few of the bands that you play. But evidently, there's a lot of skill required in doing that. And it certainly shows in the music that you write that you're skilled musicians. So what's also nice, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it, is that I can hear influences in there. I can't always, I think Lockdown in London really screams Iron Maiden, but it's very melodic as well. It's a lovely pace. It's really fast paced. It's got a really nice melody to that pace as well. The solo is blistering as well. I mean, that for me is my personal favourite. I think when I first played it through, straight away I was like, Colourblind and Lockdown in London are my two favourite. And then when I played it more, I liked them all separately. So that's still my favourite, but each one I like separately for different reasons. I would say, again, I think the first two have probably got more of a punky vibe. There's probably a bit more Foos in there. Again, that's just the vibe I get from it. And I know Foo Fighters is one of the bands that you play in your set list. And then the final one, I Ain't No Gender Offender. I mean, that was a hard one for me because I kept listening to it and going, what does that bit sound like? What does that bit sound like? Who does that sound like? And I can hear things that remind me of stuff, but not like it's not like it's copied. It just reminds me of things enough that I'm going, oh, what's that? I don't know whether there's a bit of Airborne or DC in there. I don't know. At one point, I even thought, can I hear a bit of Def Leppard? It's an unusual track for me because I feel like there's a lot going on in terms of classic rock influences, but it's its own song. It's yours. It's not theirs. It's just, I think the skill you've attained from playing that music is evident.
You've actually nailed it on the head there. It's so nice to hear that because you've very, very intelligently picked that up. And that's exactly what it is. You know, being a classic cover strip, we idolise all the bands that we grew up with. We've had Neil Kay, who brought in the new wave of British heavy metals, back us and say to us, what a great band, and writes a really nice review, which we're using to attract.
I've got it down here.
Yeah, but I had Bon Scott's ex-girlfriend Mary Renshaw, who wrote that, who I speak to on social media, saying she loves it, thinks it sounds great, and he liked it, and he's my hero, Bon Scott. Yeah. So to hear that, but what we chuck in, that last track, it's got everything in there. We just wanted to get one song that would just chuck everything in. And these guys have said, I mean, Davey's a fantastic guitarist. I love the word blistering. That's him, Dave Blistering Barlow. I think we're christening him.
Do you know what? I think we should, because it's the guitars probably do stand out the most for me. And I don't like saying the rest of it doesn't, because I don't want to insult anybody. But honestly, when I listen to it, I'm like, fuck me, those guitars. I mean, it is so very good. Well done, you.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Go on, blistering.
Okay, let's talk about guitars. For all the guitarists out there, right, that want to listen to our EP, Halfway to Hell, right? So obviously, the thing is, I've got a YouTube channel, right? And I'm going to promote it, right? So let's do that, right? Because it's really important. And and I tell people how to look after their guitars and how to not play their guitars, and what to do and how to play. Well, kind of how to play it. Just stuff which guitarists do. I don't open boxes and and review products. I don't do any of that, which is kind of makes me kind of a little bit different out in YouTube land. But the thing is the whole guitar thing is people forget about it. For example, if you listen to Lockdown in London, right, there's always going to be, obviously you are unique as a guitar player, and there's always going to be influences in there. And like, for example, the second half of the solo in Lockdown in London, the first 6, 7 or 8 or 9 notes, if you go and play out in the fields and play the solo, it's the same notes.
Yeah.
And it's something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, it's like a Gary Moore thing, So there's a bit of Gary Moore in there. There's a little bit of George Lynch in there. There's a little bit of Phil X in there. It's at the end.
Yeah.
There's a Phil X. All the guitar, and you just put all them together, and you steal a little piece of all these people without knowing it. And then
how can you not? I mean, how can you not have your influences in there when you're in the creative process? Sure. I'll tip you on to a guy that I know, a prolific guitarist in Denmark, Soren Anderson, who plays with Glenn Hughes, but he did a whole YouTube piece on how to take your influences and make them your own. And he was the same. He said, it's the same notes. You just do something. I mean, God, it was over my head because I'm not a guitarist, but it was really interesting. I absolutely loved it. And he was saying, AC/DC, he was going through all of the main bands that we know. And exactly what you said, you can be playing the same notes, but they won't sound the same, or you might just change something about it that makes it completely different.
The other thing I think is relevant, it's not, you don't just hear it in the guitars, you'll hear it in the vocals, you'll hear it in the bass. The bass is clinical. But that's that. But you'll hear it. This overall kind of sound that we have there's a lot going on in it. For a 4-piece band, that's for sure. But it's not what I call. Rough around the edges might not be the right thing, but that's kind of what we want. It's raw. We want to come out sounding raw. The guitars have got to sound raw. The vocals have got to sound raw. We're going for that kind of. It's recorded, but we're going for that live feel. I know all bands say it's a bit of a cliche, but genuinely, that's what we were going for. We just. Because we are a live band. Yeah.
You don't have to be overproduced. That's a different market, a different sound, isn't it? So there's nothing wrong with that. What I'll do, I'll read, I think you've already read Tina's review, haven't you? But I'll read her overall thoughts because again, it probably fits nicely with what we've just been talking about. But I've sort of stripped it down a little bit, but she's put pummeling bass, vocals delivered in a habit manner, and now a blistering guitar solo. I must have nicked blistering off her because she'd written it down first. I thought it was my word. And now a blistering guitar solo. I'm rocking along to Vindication, and out rips a guitar solo to make me sit up and take notice, which is a feature on all their tracks. Next up is my clear favourite and surely hit single material, Colourblind. That has the message, the driving guitar, lead, bass, heavy rock, and again the guitar solo rocks. Call me insane, but I can hear Ian Astbury throughout this EP, which is not a bad thing at all. And she's put, loving the Iron Maiden-esque start of Lockdown in London, another lockdown baby. I already read that out, didn't I? It's been a catastrophic time for the music industry as we continue to struggle and strive to get back to normal life. This will be talked about for generations, and the music it inspired will live on forever. And then she's put, love the almost sleazy guitar opening swagger of I'll never be no gender offender. And she's put, there's a title for you. And she's put, Ransom have a message and lyrics. And these can be found on their social media pages. So that's kind of our thoughts as MMH and our little overview. And I think, I've probably said this, but I suppose my final thoughts, what I like is that each track's got a different vibe. So the influences are there. I know you describe them as ranthms, and I think that's absolutely. I mean, it's a bit lispy, but ranthms, I love it. It's great. Yeah. They certainly are. It's all really pacey and energetic. I actually think you did the right thing by picking 4 really strong tracks that could stand alone as singles individually, because you could have kept going and tried to make a first album, but actually go for it. Go with a fucking bang and introduce yourselves and let people really get used to you like this. So it's definitely, I think that's the right decision. And I think it's well written, and I think musically it sounds great. But also I was impressed with the production as well, because again I was reading that you'd done that yourselves, and I think it's really, really impressive, because you would never. It's obviously been produced by a professional, like your son, which is great. But yeah, it sounds it. So, and Tina's just final thoughts were, starting out as a covers band and now venturing into releasing their own original music. This is a short, sharp shock and a great opening gambit, and they are certainly halfway to hell already, and I'll be keeping an eye on where they go next.
Cool.
So that's nice, isn't it?
That's a great review. We've had quite a lot of reviews, actually. We're pretty overwhelmed at for what we've done so far. It's been a pretty good ride so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as well, you're quite good at putting yourself out there, and you've got to have that bravery and be a little bit pushy's the wrong word, but it's about networking and being connected, isn't it? You've got to do that yourselves. It doesn't happen for you. It's like anything in life. If you want a job, you've got to go and find it. It's not going to find you. And all
Very
that.
true.
But I think we all work too well. We all know our roles. We've all got a specific role in the band. It's a very, very talented band. Someone we haven't mentioned is Will, who couldn't be on the recording naturally because we couldn't get drums into what we were doing. But he's the most solid drummer I've ever had the pleasure of playing with. I played with drummers many years in many bands, but he's just right on the money. And him and Zach, the whole sound, the whole tightness and feel of the band allows the freedom to do what we do. When we play live, Dave's in the bottom, we're jumping on tables, I'm jumping on tables, we're all out. We spend more time off the stage than we do on it half the time. But the freedom to do that is all at the bottom of it. And it's really nice because we've talked to quite a few people, we've done a few radio interviews already and a few people. And as Dave says, we've been totally overwhelmed. But you guys seem to have actually nailed it. You seem to have got exactly what it is about. And the whole idea of what we put it together. We're just a covers band from Kingston who's decided to have a go. We've all experienced a band, but we thought, let's do something. There's plenty of people out there, other bands out there who are frustrated. But instead of sitting around moaning, we can't play. Let's do something. Let's pay homage to our heroes, and let's get everyone out and say, so everyone out there can say, right, yeah, you're going to be held to ransom.
Yeah, make it happen. Absolutely. No, do you know what? I think Tina and I, because we're such massive music fans, we're very thorough. We don't just listen to something once and then go, all right, let's bang together some generic stuff. We really listen to it and we really think about it. I know I do. I know I play things over and over again because your first listen isn't, the way you feel on your first listen is often different after you've had a chance to really digest it and try and listen to the lyrics. And I know you've been sending me through some of the videos that you've done as well, which is nice because, again, some of them are lyric videos. So if there's anything you kind of miss, sometimes that just fills in a few gaps. And it's nice to see. And social media is your world at the moment, really. So if you're not putting it out there on social media and you're not providing contact, then you're disappearing at the moment. So it is, you're right, you're thinking differently, you're taking positive action and making a shit situation work for you. You can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, well, you can find it. You can listen to us anywhere now. We're on all major streaming platforms.
Go for it. Buy it now, people.
All major streaming platforms. We're on YouTube. You can just type in Ransom Halfway to Hell, and you'll find something. You'll find something.
And if you want to buy the CD, it's ransom.rocks.
It's ransom.rocks. .co.uk or anything like that. It's
just ransom.rocks. Yes.
Rocks. And remember that we're halfway to hell, but we need the whole way to redemption.
Yay! Have you been working on that one for a while?
About 5 minutes ago.
Suddenly like, I could have thought.
Matt is the wordsmith. Just read the lyrics on the website and you'll see that this isn't just some geezer just putting a few words together at the rhyme. This stuff means things. This stuff's going to touch you.
There's a few time bombs in there as well, and if you're clever, you'll pick them up. I've someone asked me yesterday what the last bit at the end were about the cucumber patch bit. Well, that's all about. And it's actually a tribute to Bon Scott waiting around to be a millionaire. I became a vegan at the beginning of lockdown. And because I've met the guy from Coolish Shaky Millions who played a gig at the Orange, and he told me something about the power of K, and he called the band Coolish Crispin, that's his name. So I said, I thought I'll go for the power of V, so it's vodka, vegetables and vaginas, and that was it. So, and that's where vindication came from. So it was my
allotment. Hands up your ears, children.
Yeah, this is X-rated. Well, to be fair, my interviews usually go this way, and you've actually given me a really nice segue because I've been sat here debating whether we just carry on talking about music or whether I chuck in some of my weird questions. And now you've used the word vagina, so as far as I'm concerned, you've opened the floor, and I'm going to give you a few very strange questions that you may not have been, especially as I feel like I'm being marked now against other interviews that you've done.
You don't know what you've let yourself in for now.
Well, I don't know if you know what you've let yourself in for. Let's just see, shall we? All right. So, I will start with. Let me have a look because I've got a whole little section here, and I like to just see. I just vibe it and see which one's going to work. So, okay. Here's some random questions then for you. What do you think would be the most inappropriate movie to remake as a porno?
Frozen.
Yeah, the two girls. It might not be inappropriate. People might like that.
Yeah. Let It Blow. That'd be the song, wouldn't it?
Any thoughts from you? Oh, Lassie. Oh, Lassie is a porno. Oh, bless. I think anything with animals in is definitely very, very inappropriate.
Black Beauty.
Yeah. Yes.
No, I've seen that one.
Oh, hang on. Look at that. I've got a gift from Zoom. We're not time limited anymore. Woohoo!
They're enjoying it. They're listening.
They are. They're listening. They want to hear more about Black Beauty, which I think probably if you went onto Anne Summers' website, you'd probably find a Black Beauty somewhere in there.
You know what they say? Once you go beauty, you never go back, isn't it?
Something like that. All right, then. What about this one? If getting an erection made a sound, what sound would you want it to make?
Now that is a very good question.
It's a very odd question. It's one of Tina's.
It's a boing sound, isn't it? It's definitely like the old. I think it was the old. The old Nokia, the old Nokia phone, the one that all really likes. Yeah,
they did have a Nokia. Yeah, or those little things. Oh, here we go.
That's it. Dave can probably play it on guitar, whatever it is. He can play it.
Yeah, I'll probably play that on guitar, actually.
Absolutely, why not? Well, the sound could be a guitar riff if you wanted it to be. I mean, it can be whatever you want.
If I was 18, it would probably be about a 3-second riff. But I'm a little bit older now, so it might last about a minute.
All right then. Here's a couple of random ones for you. Actually, do you know what? No, I'm going to ask you this one first before I go too weird. So, if there was going to be a film made of your life, who would you have play you? So, or
Margot
the
Robbie.
band.
Margot Robbie.
Oh, Margot Robbie. Why not?
Well, I'm just gonna, because I can't even think of anybody, so I'm just gonna hit it with Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, that would be fucking brilliant.
Because it would be awesome, wouldn't it? To watch?
You have got, in terms of looks, you have got a bit of a Zakk Wylde thing going on with the hair and the beard. So, although I'm not sure he's an actor, but you could.
This is my lockdown Viking beard.
Yeah.
So it's great because
people have got them.
Today, my wife, she went shopping, so I went shopping with her, and usually she gets hassled with about a face mask. I just go with her. Nobody even goes near us because
really?
It's a bit too mean.
Absolutely. Look, you just go around looking burly.
I just look like this.
I like these questions, Caz. I like where this is going.
All right, okay. Well, good. Okay, next one then. I'm going to do some would you rather, so you have to pick one or the other. Would you rather have the power of invisibility for only 15 minutes a month or the power of mind control for just one day a year?
That's interesting because I actually got out of a Christmas party once because it was a superheroes Christmas party and I didn't turn up and they said to me, you weren't there. And I said, I was there as the invisible man.
I fucking knew you were going to say that then.
And you know the Wonder Woman joke as well, which I followed up with when I got an instant disciplinary, but then I get a lot of those.
Brilliant.
I would never want to control anybody's mind.
No.
So it'd have to be the Harry Potter's invisibility cloak or whatever it is.
Yeah. And he could get it for some mischief. I don't know. I mean, what do you want to do with it? You get 15 minutes a month. Do you want mischief?
Get into Emma Watson, I'd say.
I
got the Harry Potter cloak. The wife loves it. It's great.
I see. I won't even ask about that. That's not one of the questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right, okay. So I'm going to do a few more would you rathers with you because you'll like these. I've been involved in these over time. I collect them. Would you rather cry every time you have sex or burp every time someone kisses you? You're making it seem like the toughest thing in the world.
We've been in lockdown. I've been in lockdown for too long. What's sex? I can't remember what that
is. No one can remember.
What is it? Is it burping and crying at the same time? I'll probably do that.
Yeah, do that.
Crying. I'd cry.
Yeah, a lot of people go for cry.
Yeah, crying.
I'm just not going to answer the questions because I just don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, just
by default, then, if you don't want to ask, you can have burp every time someone kisses you.
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea.
All right, well, no pressure. But then this one you have to answer. You have to answer, would you rather have ball bags for eyelids or a willy for a nose?
Oh, no, I can answer this.
I've already got ball bags for eyelids, so that's all right.
I had a friend, actually, who actually grew a penis on his head, very small when he was younger, and he went to the doctors and he had to get it sorted. And they said to him, look, you've got a penis growing on your forehead. He goes, what? He goes, the rest of my life, I'm going to have to look up and see a dick above my head. He says, no, don't worry, because once your balls drop, you won't see anything.
Oh my God.
You asked, I delivered.
He was a proper dickhead, is what I'm hearing there.
Yay! That's it.
So does that mean you didn't really choose, you just chose to tell a joke instead? Are you having...
Cool.
All right then, vaginas for ears or penises for arms?
Vaginas for where?
Ears or penises for arms?
Oh, right. Penis for arms.
Actually, my wife says that when she kisses me, it's like kissing a hairy vagina.
I'm not sure that's a required answer.
Yeah.
It's like, did you ever see like Tiswas and stuff? And I used to have the bands, and they say, right, what's your favourite colour? and we always come up with alternative answers, and it was quite hilarious. But sorry about that. It was a bit of a swerve. Sorry.
No, that's all right. No worries.
I'd like vaginas for ears.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah. Vaginas for I'd like vaginas for ears. I think then when you went to poke your ears to get rid of the wax, it'd be a lot more fun, wouldn't it?
It probably would, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's face it. And who needs hearing anyway? It's not important. Dave, are you going to choose?
Sorry?
Are you going to choose?
I'll have both.
All right. Okay. Why not? That's a good way of it. Yeah. Anyway, I shouldn't act things out.
Let's cover all bases, you know?
Yeah. And this is the weirdest question you're ever going to get asked. And I have asked it to other people before, but I still maintain this is my favourite one of all time. Now concentrate, because it's a weird one. Would you rather have a 10-inch long belly button that sways to the music or accordions for legs?
Definitely a 10-inch belly button.
Yeah.
And it's something else.
Yeah. I'd have a 10-inch anything. Seriously, I'll be anything with 10 inches would do for me.
Brilliant.
Well, I'll have one of those as long as it works.
Well, you know what? Surprisingly, some people have said they'd like accordions for legs because then they can make music wherever they go, and that's pretty sweet, isn't it?
Who was that?
I'm not telling you.
That wasn't Gypsy's Kiss, was it?
No, I'm not telling you.
That's enough.
I've had a few people say it, actually. Cool. Well, there endeth my weird and random questions. I bet
the climax.
Yeah. That's all right, wasn't it?
Do you know, if I'd have known that, I would have written some questions myself, Matt. What about you?
Yeah, I think we'd have asked you questions. We knew that was the ballpark. We'd have asked you a load of questions like that.
Well, go on then.
Oh, okay. Go on, Matt. Go on.
It's not my interview, though, so I can deny everything.
Yeah, no, yes.
I could just go edit that out. Yeah.
The problem is you could go too far, couldn't it? This.
Yeah. No, we'll leave it there. I think we quit while we're ahead.
It's nice to just have a little bit of fun and do something a bit different because obviously what we have been here to do is really, really talk up BP, which I keep wanting to say highway to hell, and I keep having to say it's halfway to hell. It's too easy to slip into highway, but halfway to hell. So if anybody, yes, there we go. That's the problem. So if anybody hasn't already got it that is watching, then they really need to.
Get the album, yes.
It's not exactly difficult. Go on iTunes, go on Spotify, or if you really want the CD, again, not a difficult task, ransom.rocks. But highly recommended from myself and Tina C for MMH. And like you say, you've had some great reviews already. People can find you on Facebook, again, if they haven't already, because we'll be sharing this all over the place. So
on Crime Watch after this program, probably.
Probably, yeah. But no, it's been fab. So one final question then: what will be your? And probably this is probably going to be for both of you, but I was thinking Dave more because it's been your baby for so much longer. But what would be the dream achievement for the band if you could have anything that you wanted? What would you just love to happen?
My dream achievement for this band is that any individual that's in this band right now get whatever they want from this band. That's it.
Yeah, that's a really nice dream achievement.
Oh,
but
that's it. Yeah, that's what it's about.
Don't forget, Matt wants vaginas for ears. So.
No, he just said that just for comical reasons.
I know.
Yeah,
I just said that for comical reasons as well.
And it was very funny. Yeah, whatever he said. Yeah, no. I just to leave a mark. I'd like to leave a mark for this time. And what you said, you touched on it earlier. this has been something none of us have experienced before in our lifetimes. We'll look back and we'll probably know but just to have done something during this period, something creative, something today, say, look, we did that. When everyone else was sort of worrying about staying alive or whatever, we wrote something that was poignant, that was on the money, and it sounded fucking good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is a lovely, lovely way to conclude our interview. So thank you so much. It's been absolutely awesome catching up with you. Really nice to meet you guys, because I've not met you before, and I'm absolutely sure that when we come out of this, I'm going to come and see you play, whether it's classic rock covers and you chuck in a few of these tracks in, or whether by then you've got a full set that you of your own material that you're going to go out and do. It's been fantastic to catch up with you. I've been Caz Parker for MMH, the home of rock radio, and you guys have been Matt and Dave from Ransom. And go and get the EP, everybody.
Yes.
www.ransom.rocks.
Rocks.
Halfway to hell, baby!
Thank you.